Commander James Wilson stood at the observation deck of Orbital Repair Station Delta, his weathered hands wrapped around a cold cup of coffee. The sight before him was unprecedented. A massive crystalline vessel, its iridescent hull dulled by battle damage, approached the station's main repair bay. Station log, October 15, 2157. He spoke into his personal recorder. Third Viridian warship this week. Starting to think this isn't a coincidence. The Viridians were known for their proprietary technology and fierce independence. Their ships, powered by quantum matrices beyond human understanding, were serviced exclusively at their own facilities. Or at least they used to be. Commander, Technical Chief Rita Patel's voice crackled over the intercom. You're going to want to see this. In the main repair bay, Rita stood before a holographic display of the Viridian ship schematics. Her dark eyes sparkled with the same curiosity that had made her Earth's top diagnostic engineer. Look at these power fluctuations. They're exactly like the ones we saw in the Centaurian freighter last month. The one with the integrated circuit failure? Wilson asked, stepping closer to the display. Exactly. But here's the thing. Viridian ships don't use integrated circuits. They use quantum pathways that are supposedly immune to traditional failures. A deep voice interrupted them. And yet, here we are. They turned to find Ambassador Krell, the Viridian representative, his crystalline form reflecting the bay's harsh lights. Our best engineers are puzzled. 3 of our most advanced warships, all experiencing similar malfunctions. The Council demands answers. Wilson exchanged glances with Rita. They'd both suspected the truth for weeks, but dealing with alien politics required delicacy. Ambassador, would you permit us to perform a manual inspection? Manual? Krell's crystalline features shifted in what humans had learned was an expression of disgust. Our systems are far too sophisticated for primitive physical examination. Rita stepped forward. With respect, Ambassador, sometimes the most advanced problems have the simplest solutions. We've developed unique diagnostic approaches, combining traditional engineering with modern techniques. After a long moment, Krell's form flickered, a Viridian sigh. Proceed. What they discovered over the next few hours would change the galaxy's view of human engineering forever. Deep within the quantum matrices, where Viridian scanners saw only perfect operation, Rita's team found microscopic manufacturing flaws. These imperfections, too small for automated systems to detect but large enough to cause cascading failures, were invisible to the Viridians' advanced diagnostic tools. It's like looking for a pothole in the road, Rita explained to the increasingly fascinated ambassador. Your sensors are like satellites, looking down from above. Sometimes you need boots on the ground to feel the bump. The repair itself was remarkably simple once identified. Rita's team developed a hybrid solution, using human-designed mechanical dampeners to stabilize the quantum fluctuations. By the end of the day, the warship systems were operating at 110% efficiency. News spread quickly through subspace channels. Within a week, ships from across the galaxy began appearing at Earth's repair stations. The Arcturus Collective, the Proxima League, even the notoriously secretive Rigelians, all seeking what they called the human touch. Wilson watched from his observation deck as the repaired Viridian warship departed, its hull now gleaming with its former glory. Station log, supplemental, he recorded. I believe we've discovered something remarkable, not about alien technology, but about ourselves. In trying to catch up to the galaxy's advanced civilizations, we never lost what made us unique. Our ability to roll up our sleeves and fix things the old-fashioned way. Rita joined him at the window, her coveralls stained with the strange oils used in alien engines. You know what this means, don't you? Every repair station in the system will need to be upgraded. We're about to become the galaxy's mechanics. Wilson smiled. Not bad for a bunch of primitive humans with wrenches, eh? Below them, another alien ship was already approaching, its engines sputtering in a way that would baffle advanced diagnostic systems, but would be immediately recognizable to any human mechanic who had ever listened to a failing motor. The galaxy was about to learn that sometimes the best solutions weren't found in quantum computers or artificial intelligence, but in the grease-stained hands of human engineers who understood that every machine, no matter how advanced, occasionally needed a good old-fashioned tune-up. Senior engineer Raj Varma didn't believe in impossible repairs. After 20 years fixing everything from lunar shuttles to quantum drives, he'd learned that every machine had a story to tell, if you knew how to listen. Today's story came from a Proximan cruise liner, dead in space with 3,000 passengers aboard. Its quantum core hummed at the wrong frequency, a sound that made Raj's teeth ache. The ship's AI insisted everything was functioning perfectly. "Your diagnostic systems are lying to you," Raj told Captain Clara, the vessel's insectoid commander. Her antennae twitched in what he'd learned was irritation. "Impossible. Our quantum core's safety protocols are foolproof," she clicked. "The AI cannot be wrong." Raj pulled out his grandfather's stethoscope, a family heirloom that had diagnosed more alien ships than any quantum scanner. "With respect, Captain, that's exactly the problem. Your safety protocols are too good." He pressed the stethoscope against the core's housing, closing his eyes to focus on the subtle vibrations. The Proximan engineers watched with a mixture of curiosity and disdain as he moved methodically around the massive engine. "Here," he said finally, tapping a section of the housing, "your quantum harmonics are out of phase. The AI's compensating automatically, but it's making the problem worse." The captain's compound eyes reflected the engine room's harsh lighting. "Our engineers found no phase variance. Because they're looking at computer readings. Sometimes you need to feel the machine's pulse." Raj pulled up the engine schematics on his tablet. "Look here, your safety protocols are designed to maintain perfect quantum alignment. But perfection isn't always optimal. Sometimes an engine needs to be a little rough to run smooth." He explained how the safety protocols were overcorrecting minor fluctuations, creating a feedback loop that was slowly destroying the core. The solution wasn't more precise calibration. It was teaching the AI to be less rigid. "Think of it like teaching someone to ride a bicycle," Raj said, making adjustments to the core's control systems. "You have to allow for small imperfections. A little wobble is part of staying balanced." The Proximan engineers chittered among themselves, their traditional training warring with the evidence before them. Captain Clara watched silently as Raj worked, her antennae moving in complex patterns. 3 hours later, the quantum core sang with healthy power. The ship's AI, its parameters adjusted to accept minor variances, had stopped fighting its own systems. As the passengers cheered the restoration of power, Captain Clara approached Raj. "Your methods are unorthodox," she admitted, "but effective. The Proximan Engineering Academy will want to study this approach." Raj cleaned his tools, carefully wrapping the old stethoscope. "They're welcome to visit Earth's repair stations. We're setting up training programs now." Sometimes the best way forward is to look backward. Word of the repair spread quickly. Within days, ships began appearing at repair stations across the solar system, their crews requesting human-style diagnostics. The galaxy was learning that the most sophisticated sensors couldn't replace experience, intuition, and the willingness to get your hands dirty. In his quarters that night, Raj called his grandfather, now retired on Earth. "You were right, Dada," he said, holding up the old stethoscope. "The best tools are the ones that make you think." The older man smiled. "And now the galaxy is learning what every mechanic's apprentice knows. Machines aren't just systems and numbers. They have personalities, moods. They need humans who understand their quirks." As if to prove his point, a priority alert flashed on Raj's screen. Another ship needed the human touch. Another chance to prove that in a galaxy of perfect machines, imperfect humans still had much to teach. He grabbed his toolkit, the stethoscope safely tucked inside. Somewhere in the vast expanse of space, a machine was telling its story. All it needed was someone who knew how to listen. The Galactic Engineering Conference had never seen such a crowd. The massive auditorium on Europa Station was packed with beings from 100 different worlds, all focused on the human woman standing at the podium. Director Priya Sharma of Earth's Interstellar Repair Initiative had expected maybe 50 attendees. Over 2,000 had shown up. "The principles of human engineering aren't complex," she began, her voice carrying across the diverse audience. "We learned them through centuries of trial and error, failure and adaptation. While other species perfected automation, we perfected problem-solving." Holograms flickered behind her, showing human repair techniques being applied to increasingly advanced alien technologies. Each success story drew murmurs from the crowd. Last month, a Rigelian quantum dreadnought was salvaged by 2 human mechanics using modified Earth tools. Last week, an Andromedan research vessel's AI was stabilized using principles we developed fixing 20th-century computers. The galaxy is learning what humans have always known. Technology is only as good as our understanding of its fundamental principles. In the front row, Ambassador Exor of the Arcturus Collective leaned forward, his crystalline form refracting light across the chamber. But surely as technology advances, the need for manual intervention decreases? Priya smiled. Let me show you something. She gestured, and the hologram shifted to show a recent repair operation. This is the engine room of the Collective's flagship, the Eternal Light. Your engineers said its quantum matrix was beyond saving. The audience watched as human technicians, led by veteran engineer Marcus Rodriguez, diagnosed the problem using a combination of advanced sensors and simple mechanical tools. The solution involved modifying parts of the quantum matrix using techniques originally developed for internal combustion engines. We didn't just fix the matrix, Priya continued. We improved it. The Eternal Light now operates at 127% of its original efficiency. Not because we had better technology, but because we understood the underlying principles. The conference hall erupted in discussion. Species that had once looked down on primitive human engineering were now frantically taking notes. Trade representatives were already drafting agreements for human repair crews. But it was during the practical demonstrations that humanity's true value became clear. In the station's massive repair bay, human engineers worked alongside alien technicians, teaching them to trust their instincts as much as their instruments. Feel that vibration? Marcus showed a group of Andromedan engineers. That's your power converter telling you it's unhappy. No sensor will pick it up, but every human mechanic knows that sound. Across the bay, younger engineers like Zarachin were introducing alien species to the concept of jury rigging, the art of creative problem-solving with limited resources. Sometimes the perfect solution isn't available, she explained to a fascinated group of Rigelian technicians. That's when you need to think outside the quantum box. By the conference's end, Earth had received formal requests from 27 species for permanent human engineering presence in their territories. The Galactic Council was drafting new regulations that required human consultation on major repair operations. In her closing remarks, Priya addressed the transformed audience. We're not here to replace your technology or your methods. We're here to add another tool to your arsenal, human ingenuity. Because in the end, it's not about having the most advanced systems. It's about understanding how to keep them running. Later, in her private office overlooking Europa's ice fields, Priya reviewed the conference results with her team. The statistics were staggering. Repair success rates had increased by 300% at stations with human engineers. Emergency response times had been cut in half. We're becoming the galaxy's mechanics, Marcus observed, studying the data. Not bad for a species that was considered primitive just a few years ago. Priya nodded, watching through her window as ships from across the galaxy lined up at Europa's repair docks. Each vessel carried technology far beyond human development. Yet each needed what only humans could provide: the ability to see beyond the data, to understand the heart of a machine. We're not just mechanics, she said softly. We're teachers. We're showing the galaxy that sometimes the oldest solutions are the best ones. And that's worth more than all the quantum matrices in the universe. A priority alert flashed across her screen. Another impossible repair. Another chance to prove humanity's worth. The galaxy was learning, but it still had much to discover about the power of human innovation. The alert came at 0300 Earth Standard Time. The Galactic Council's flagship, Harmony of Worlds, had suffered a catastrophic systems failure during a crucial peace conference. 27 ambassadors from the galaxy's most powerful species were stranded in deep space, their life support systems failing. Director Nathan O'Brien of Emergency Operations stood in Europa Station's command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the crisis. The ship's position blinked red against the star map, just within reach of Earth's fastest rescue vessels. All advanced repair attempts have failed, the Council's AI reported. Automated systems are non-responsive. Estimated life support failure in 6 hours. Nathan keyed his calm, This is Director O'Brien. I need Team Omega in Launch Bay 3 immediately. Team Omega was humanity's elite repair unit, assembled from the best engineers Earth had to offer. Within minutes, Chief Engineer Yuki Tanaka and her team were boarding their rescue vessel, the Swift Response. As Earth's fastest repair ship, it could reach the Harmony in 4 hours, leaving precious little time for repairs. Remember, Nathan's voice crackled over the comm as they launched, this isn't just about saving lives. The entire galaxy is watching. Show them what humans can do. The journey was tense. Yuki studied the Harmony schematics, noting how its advanced systems were interconnected in ways that made traditional repairs nearly impossible. Almost too perfect, she thought. And that might be the problem. When they docked with the massive flagship, the situation was worse than expected. The ship's quantum core had entered a cascade failure, its safety protocols locked in an endless loop, trying to correct problems that weren't there. Ambassador Sci-Fi Tal, the Council's first speaker, met them at the airlock. The normally imposing Arcturian looked diminished, their crystalline form dulled with worry. Our best engineers are baffled. The systems report everything is functional, yet we're losing power. Yuki deployed her team. Miguel, check the mechanical backups. Aisha, start bypassing safety protocols. Lee, get me a direct line to that quantum core. She pulled out her toolkit, a mixture of advanced diagnostic equipment and modified Earth tools that had saved countless ships. You're disconnecting safety systems? Sci-Fi asked, alarm evident in their harmonic voice. Sometimes you have to let a system fail a little to save it, Yuki explained, her hands flying over control panels. Your automated repairs are so focused on maintaining perfect operation that they're strangling the core. The next 2 hours were a blur of activity. Yuki's team worked with practiced precision, using techniques that would have horrified traditional alien engineers. They bypassed quantum safeties, rerouted power through improvised pathways, and essentially taught the ship's AI to think more like a human mechanic. The core's too rigid, Yuki explained to the gathered ambassadors. It needs flexibility, like a tree bending in the wind instead of standing stiff and breaking. With 30 minutes of life support remaining, Yuki made the final adjustments. The quantum core hummed, not with its usual perfect tone, but with a slightly rough edge that any human engineer would recognize as healthy operation. Power surged through the ship. Life support stabilized. The AI, freed from its perfectionist programming, began adapting to the new configurations. The harmony of worlds was saved. In the aftermath, as diplomatic functions resumed and repair logs were filed, Ambassador Sci-Fi Tal approached Yuki's team. The Council has made a decision, they announced. We're establishing a new division, the Galactic Engineering Corps, and we want humans to lead it. The implications were enormous. Humanity would help reshape how the galaxy approached engineering and repairs, introducing their unique blend of innovation and practical experience to cultures that had relied too heavily on automation. Back on Europa Station, Nathan received the official request from the Council. He smiled, remembering how just a few years ago, humans were considered too primitive to work on advanced alien technology. Send the response, he told his staff. Tell them Earth accepts the challenge, but on one condition, we do this our way. No more perfect systems. No more rigid thinking. It's time for the galaxy to learn that sometimes the best solutions come from embracing imperfection. As he watched more ships arrive at Earth's repair stations, Nathan understood that humanity had found its place in the cosmos. Not as the most advanced species, but as the ones who remembered that every machine, no matter how sophisticated, sometimes needed a human touch. 10 years after the Harmony of Worlds incident, the Sol system had transformed into the galaxy's premier engineering hub. The newly constructed Engineering Academy orbital ring around Earth buzzed with activity as species from across the cosmos came to learn what humans called the art of imperfect perfection. Admiral Maria Rodriguez, former emergency repair chief and now head of the Galactic Engineering Corps, stood before her most diverse class yet. The lecture hall contained beings from 30 different species, all eager to learn humanity's approach to engineering. Today's lesson isn't about technology, she began, her voice carrying the weight of decades of experience. It's about understanding that every machine has a soul. Holographic displays showed the evolution of human engineering, from steam engines to quantum drives. Our greatest strength isn't our advanced tools or sophisticated computers. It's our ability to see patterns, feel rhythms, and understand that sometimes the best solution isn't the most elegant one. In the practical labs below, veteran human engineers worked alongside alien apprentices. They taught them to trust their instincts, to recognize the subtle signs of mechanical distress that no sensor could detect, and most importantly, to think creatively when faced with impossible problems. Listen to that harmonic distortion, instructed senior engineer Khalil Hassan, teaching a group of Rigelian students. Your quantum analyzers say it's within acceptable parameters, but what does your gut tell you? The Rigelians, traditionally reliant on pure data, were learning to trust their developing instincts. One of them, their crystalline form shimming with excitement, correctly identified an imminent failure that would have been catastrophic if left unchecked. The success of the program was evident in the statistics. Ships repaired using human methods showed a 95% reduction in critical failures. Emergency responses were faster and more effective than ever before. The galaxy was learning that the combination of advanced technology and human intuition was unbeatable. But it was during an unexpected crisis that the true value of humanity's contribution became clear. A mysterious quantum storm swept through a busy trade route, affecting ships of all designs. Traditional automated systems failed completely, leaving hundreds of vessels stranded. The response was immediate and unprecedented. Human-trained engineering teams from dozens of species worked together, applying Earth's practical approach to the crisis. They jury-rigged solutions, bypassed failing systems, and kept ships running through sheer determination and creativity. "This is what we've been training for," Maria told her students as they watched the rescue operation unfold. Not just to fix machines, but to teach the galaxy a new way of thinking about technology. In the aftermath, the Galactic Council made a historic decision. Earth's Engineering Academy would become the standard for all engineering training in known space. The curriculum would combine the best of alien technology with human practical wisdom. At the ceremony marking this announcement, Ambassador Zyx Tal, now the Council's supreme speaker, addressed the gathered representatives of 100 worlds. "A decade ago, we considered human engineering primitive," they admitted. "Today, we understand that we were the primitive ones, relying too heavily on perfect systems and flawless automation. Humanity reminded us that true advancement comes not from eliminating imperfection, but from understanding how to work with it." Maria looked out over her expanded campus, where human instructors taught alongside alien engineers, sharing knowledge that bridged the gap between intuition and technology. Ships of all designs docked at the repair stations, their crews confident in the unique combination of skills they would find there. "We're not just teaching them to fix machines," she told her staff during their evening briefing. "We're teaching them to think differently about the universe. Every problem has a solution if you're willing to get your hands dirty and think outside the box." As the sun set over Earth, casting golden light through the Academy's crystalline structures, a new group of graduates prepared to depart. They carried with them not just certificates and technical knowledge, but a fundamental understanding of humanity's greatest lesson: that in a universe of infinite complexity, sometimes the simplest solutions were the best. The galaxy had learned to value human ingenuity, and humanity had found its true calling, not as the most advanced civilization, but as the one that remembered that every piece of technology, no matter how sophisticated, was ultimately a tool to be understood, maintained, and sometimes fixed with nothing more than determination and a well-worn wrench.